Offense to say is having two houses. I will not tell you the houses, we will not tell you because we take you need to attack him. Pastor Sender also is having two houses. Two houses which each of them are handling four competitors at the same time. The doctor is handling all of them. So they are going to use their discretion and whatever and mark the grades. They will do everything together and then decide. So now, this is how we're going to choose. Candidate, please. You need to give me. We're going to grade you out of 5 different marks from 1 to 5. We're going to give for sufficient and full ideas. The presentation you are making will grade you for the ideas, sufficient ideas and full ideas. And they will also grade you for the orderly, meaningfully and logically how you want to do the presentation. How logical, orderly, and then how meaningful it is. And then we are coming to the guide. And then we're also going to grade you after how you use examples and experiences to add meaning to your presentation. And the use of your voice and appropriate gestures and how passionate you present. And then the last is your stage appearance and your mannerism. So 5 different sets. So you can get either 1 point, 2, 3, 4, or 5, total 5 for each of the things that you be working. So that's clear. So do you understand? Do you understand? That's nice. So now, pastors, in presentation, they have the right to use their material. The only thing, their presentation does not go beyond 7 minutes. We should have one. We should have one timekeeper. If somebody wants to bring a bell. Timekeeper is bringing the bell. Okay. 7 minutes. Within 7 minutes, you should be done presenting. 7 minutes. If you present far less than, we don't mind. But at 7, the bell goes. So she also be able to handle the time. Please. That is clear. So pastors, as to who should start, I think they have to ballot. Yes, they have to send representatives to ballot. Yes. Let's have a way. Please. Yes, you should ballot. Pastors know the timekeeper. Let's have one facilitator. You be the timekeeper. You have a stopwatch. Okay. So please, how is this? Select one representative to go to the judges and do the balloting. Let me bring a paper. So give him the paper. It's first, second, third, fourth. It's just fourth, second, third, fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ballots. Please, have one representative go to ballot for you, please. You have to. You are representative, please. One representative, go. Please, we need a steady mic. We don't want excuses, please. The other mics, don't you have another mic? Let me check it. Sure. 1, 2, sure. The judges also should have, but I will be giving this to the judges. I don't need them. I don't need them. So this is for the participants, please control it. Should they come?
Yes.
Okay, representatives, go to ballot. Right, Shiba and whatever. Who is to ballot for you? Yes.
Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 2. All right. So we've got them, sir.
Okay. So, what is number 1? Number 1, the dollhouse, number 1. Number 2. Who's number 2?
Number 2.
Potter's house, number 2.
Number 2.
The dollhouse, number 1. Potter's house, number 2. Number 3. Literature chapel, number 3. And lighthouse to be number 4 for each speech. Okay. So we are starting with the dollhouse. Yes, and that goes to the male. In this case, we're starting with the male. Yes. So you get in the mic. Yes, sir.
Hello. What I want to, because these guys show that this see far on our thing, then when one have to give the speech, you should come at the center.
Okay.
Then I think that will be fine.
It's not bad.
So we have you all seated there facing
No,
this.
just turn the chairs.
Turn the chairs.
Just turn the chairs. Let the chairs come this way. Okay.
So the one that is coming out to present, he or she is going to stand here.
Okay, you can
Yes.
come a bit to the back. Okay.
Right. That's right. Anybody that wants to present or this go do fast and come. So
Okay. Who is presenting?
let's go there.
No, you go there. Take this to
The one that is coming first, he or she is going to take this place here.
Okay.
Yes.
Take the chair also.
When it is your turn to come, you come here. You have an open place. So you have to take the center.
So this is not.
And talk. Okay. We want to see your.
Thank you, can you set? Okay. So please just listen. So good luck to the team.
Hello, good evening everyone. Good evening these panel judges and distinguished guests. My name is Andre Ponte and I am representing the House. Well, today I'm here to speak on an issue that has shaped the societies in the world for centuries now. And this particular issue is on gender inequality. Well, gender inequality, this is the unequal treatment of people based on their genders. And that is leading to the differences in the opportunities and the roles and also rights. We've also noticed that in these times and continuing now, there are lots of factors that contribute to the gender inequality. For example, first we have education. In education, we can see that in most regions, the boys are given more opportunities to go to school and the girls are staying at home or they go to the farm, they say because the men are supposed to go to school. They are the ones that are supposed to work. And this is because of the gender inequality. There is also legal barriers. Legal barriers in the sense now, the women don't inherit from the parents directly. So they actually lose most cases. You can see even there are the domestic violences like rape, even sexual assault, lots and lots and more. We also have economic inequality. Economic inequality, that is like, like I said, the first one, education. If women don't go to school, they will not have enough finances for them to involve in economic activities. And they need finance, they need money to involve in such activities. Also, we have the cultural norms. The cultural norms, these are like the traditions that we know now, that the man is supposed to be the head of the family and no one else is supposed to be the head. That is what we know now as the tradition. I also want to move on to the impact of gender inequality on the lives of individuals. Like educational barriers. Like I said in the first, the factors that I already called. Educational barriers, this is talking about the limited. The girls are being limited, not going to school, boys are going to school. This is something like gender inequality, because people believe that the boys are much stronger than the girls and they are supposed to be the head of the family. This is also what it's about. Also the health and safety. Like I said, the domestic violence. Domestic violence, people don't look at that. They think that because since the man is the one that is held the family, he has got to do whatever he wants to do. That is what his health safety is about. Also, the social and political underrepresentation. We can see that a lot of people, a lot of women they don't try to represent themselves, or they don't try to be in politics. They don't try to be leaders because people think that women can't be leaders in this country. In the world, people think that women can't be leaders. I want to move fastly to the biblical aspect, the views that are given. First, we have to look at the creation story. The creation story. Like it said in Genesis chapter 1 verses 27, it says that, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. God created man and woman in his image, so this is trying to say that God made us equal. The Bible supports it, the Bible reinforces gender inequality, and at the same time, the Bible also challenges it. This is one account. We can also look at Genesis chapter 3, verses 16. That is the fall and the consequences. This is after Adam and Eve disobeyed God. Genesis chapter 3, verses 16. It says that, so the woman said, I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be contrary to you. Your husband, but he shall rule over you. So the Bible actually stated it here that the husband is supposed to be the head. The husband is supposed to rule over the women. That is what this particular passage is trying to tell us about. Then we move on to the women in leadership also. You can see that there are a lot of people, there are women that actually involve themselves in leadership roles. Like we have, for example, Deborah. In the book of Judges chapter 4 to 5, you can see where they explain more about her leadership traits and leadership qualities. Where Deborah was a woman who led Israel as a judge, breaking the traditional general rules. No one expected a woman to be head or a woman to be so talented, and this is also what is disturbing us right now. There's also Esther. Esther was the queen that saved the people, showing confidence, courage, and leadership in a male-dominated society. She found herself in a male-dominated society where no one would expect her to be queen, no one would expect her to have such leadership qualities. And this is what more we are facing right now.
One of the observations I've made, listen everyone, Now, the next person that is going to present, let him or her use the podium. Using it, I think, will help you to place your materials on it. Then I think when you want to consult, then you can go there, you do it. I think that will help you quickly instead of bending down, because we want to see you actually get people. When you yourself, one of the things you should do, try to captivate the people's attention. You know, when you do that, I think we have them control. So that's what we have to do next. Yes. Yeah, well, thank you for presenting. We graded you, I believe. So we want to call the next person, and immediately you take your time, start counting. The next presenter, the next presenter. Yes, not the same house, another person, another house now.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jonathan Carbo. I'm a representative of Porter's House, Godege in panel of judges. I'm standing here today actually to do a presentation on the topic peer group influence. But to start with, let's first of all understand what's peer group influence, because we cannot dwell into this presentation or into this discussion without us not understanding the topic itself. So peer group influence, according to the chart I did, is a group of people who influence others that are not part of their social life or social norms or following what they are doing. So in doing this, now let's just go to the causes. We all know that there are things happen, but whenever they happen, they happen for a reason. So now I decided that we should give causes why people involve themselves in peer group influence. Remember, for every positivity there is negativity. So the causes are both positive and negative. So let's start first with the positive aspect of it. One of the positive aspects of peer group influence is us gathering here. We are not here for negativity, right? We are here for bootcamp, which is one, we are here for spirituality. We are here to discipline our souls. We are here to give. We are here to learn from our pastors and mentors. So it simply means that us coming together, us here, we are peers. And the moment we are together, it simply means that we are here for positivity. Secondly, it has to do with negative effects. One of the negative causes of peer group influence has to do with human needs to belonging. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33, it reads, "Do not be misled. Bad company corrupt good characters." Now, one of the causes why some of us we are involved into peer group influence, especially the negative aspect, is that sometimes we feel that we are left out. We do not belong to society. So probably, if your colleague has the chance to introduce you to a social club, you have no other option than to join. So that's the reason why Paul said that, do not be misled, for corrupt company, for bad company corrupt good characters. So if you are to join bad company, it corrupts your character, it changes your narrative, it changes the way society sees you. So I've highlighted the causes of peer group influence. Now let's look at the effect. As I said earlier on, we have both negative and positive effect of peer group influence. Not everything is negative, not everything is positive. It's on both ends. So now let's take the positive effect of peer group. Peer group can foster personal growth and development. This can be also justified through the Bible verse of Proverbs 27 verse 17, which says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." What does this mean? For instance, we are here. We are challenged by our pastor that when we are here, we should give our 100% participation in whatever activity that we shall be doing or we will be doing. That alone sends warning that yes, he's challenging us for personal growth, spiritual growth. So peer group influence, this is one of the positive effects of peer group influence. Now let's take the negative effect of peer group influence. peer group influence can also lead to negative behavior. The Bible warns against conforming or to harmful behaviors simply because others do. Now, you cannot do or follow social norms because others are following it. For example, those of us who are in universities, in schools, you cannot join any form of social clubs because your friend or your colleagues are part of this club. The moment you follow those clubs, instantly it starts to give you bad character. It changes everything about you. This can be justified in the book of 1 Corinthians 15:33. Paul, do not be misled, for bad company corrupts good characters. So if you are a student and then you are in a university or school, do not be misled by these so-called social clubs, because one, it will damage your character, but bad company damage good characters. For any effect, there are challenges that follows. So now one of the challenges is that peer pressure. One of the most significant challenges with peer group is peer pressure to conform. Romans 12 verse 2 advises, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What does this mean? You should not follow each and every norm that is based in this world, but rather you should follow what the Bible says. One of our preachers gave us the lesson that we should live for Christ. And in a way we should live for Christ is that we should not follow where the world. If the world is going this way, you have to be this way. Fight for the crown, just as our people say, pressing forward for the crown. You should press forward for the crown. You should not follow what unbelievers are doing. Even if you are trying to, make sure that you press forward for the crown and always focus on the crown. 2. Identity crisis. One of the challenges that comes with peer group influence is identity crisis. Peer group influence can also trigger identity crisis, where individuals struggle to maintain their sense of self. Now, what does this mean? Identity crisis simply means that where you cannot identify who you are. Some of us, we are here, but we are yet to identify who we are. So that led us to join peer group influence. That led us to join groups that are not worthy of our time, our resources. So the Bible also advised about identity crisis in Proverbs 15 verse 20. It highlights the importance of choosing friends wisely. It reads, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. What does this mean? You walk with the wise. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And my presentation topic is anger management. Going further, I'll define the word anger. According to Oxford Learner's Dictionary, anger is a feeling of displeasure or annoyance. It's a negative emotion that you feel towards something or someone that has deliberately done you wrong. And management, simply put, is a system of solution, a system of administration, and all of that. So altogether, anger management simply means how we control anger. Now, there are causes for anger. And there are so many causes, but because of the time, I would like to draw our attention to 2 causes. The first cause of anger is injustice. Now, injustice is an unfair treatment rendered to someone, and this also stirs up anger. And there's also the biological factors. Now, how many of us remember the Charles Darwin theory? Maybe not all of us. But the Charles Darwin theorem states that the behavior of people are triggered by their environment. Now, for example, if I grow up in a house where my mom, my dad, or my family members have anger issues, I'll obviously develop anger issues. So that is what the theorem is trying to talk about. Now, moving from that, we go to the effects of unmanaged anger. Now, unmanaged anger is that emotion, that feeling of displeasure that you have, that you portray, which can lead to violence, is an unmanaged anger. Now, the effects of unmanaged anger. Also, there are so many effects, but because of time, I'll give just few. In Proverbs 29:22, it says, "An angry person stirs up conflicts, and a hot-tempered person commits many sins." This verse highlights to us how important it is to control our emotions, because as a result of our emotions, we can commit many sins. Now, the effects. Physically, what can anger cause to you physically? Now, many of us do not know this, but anger has health. It has health repercussions on our bodies. Firstly, it causes depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, and so many other health problems. Anger leads to. How does anger lead to depression? You know, when you have this feeling of displeasure towards someone, as soon as you see the person, your heart will just be triggered. Even if you want to, escape that thought, it's impossible. So dealing with anger, it causes physical problems also. And number two effect is emotional. Now, emotionally, anger leads to a feeling of guilt, a feeling of regret and shame. Now, this happens especially when this feeling affects another person. Now, the feeling of regret comes after you've maybe displayed in a way that is obviously wrong. As believers, we have a particular way that even the society expects us to behave. Now, if someone has wronged you, which is, inevitable, it can happen at any time, but you displayed an unmanaged anger, and then maybe said something or did something that's way off the box, you live to regret that. And there are some decisions we just have to live by. Now, number three effect is emotional and spiritual. Also, just as I've read earlier on, an unchecked anger can distance an individual from God. We can have that from Ephesians 4:26-27. Moving further, because of time, we have the challenges in anger management. Now, managing anger is very difficult because it is an expression that it's obviously unavoidable. Now, number one challenge that we have is societal acceptance. We live in a society or in a world where assertiveness is approved. Everyone is expected to be assertive, stand up for yourself, speak for yourself, and all of that. But the Bible tells us that we should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. And this is so because this, for me, is an essential principle that every believer should live by. Because when you be a firm and quick listener, you learn a lot. And when you are slow to speak, you become wise. You have time to think about your decisions, and you will limit your regretful decisions. And another challenge also is the feeling of pride and heart of fear. Now, the Bible says pride goes before the fall. Pride, we know, is obviously.
Thank you very much for that presentation.
We want to get the next person to take the podium, please.
Good morning, church. Good morning, my able judges. I'm Natasha Elisa Kapata, and I'm from Victory Chapel. I'm here to talk about climate change. So I know some of you may know what is climate change, and some of you may not know what is climate change. So climate change, this is the long-term change in the weather and temperature of the planet or in the world. It's actually a global issue, or it's a challenge that affects our generation. So since the 90s, human activities have been the main reasons of climate change. Let's go to climate crisis. So climate crisis is used to describe global warming and climate change and their effects on raising temperature. So before I go more further, let's check in the Word of God. So Genesis 1 verse 16 says, God made the two bright sides, the larger lights to rule the day and the smaller lights to rule the night, and also made the stars. So during this process where God was making the heavens and the earth, we all know in Genesis. So during the process of the heavens and the earth, God actually made the outer part of the world, which we don't know, but the scientists know actually. So God actually made what we call the greenhouse. So the greenhouse is like a shield. It's like a blanket. It surrounds right around the earth, and it protects the earth's temperature cooling down of the sun. It actually prevents the higher rate of the sun to come into the earth. So this greenhouse, it covers the like I said. So this green light, if the green light is strong, if the green light's power of temperature is very strong, it actually affects the earth. How it affects the earth? Because when the higher heat of the sun come from the green light into the earth, into the atmosphere, it actually affects our health, our food, even our oceans, and lots more. So let's talk about climate change and global warming. So imagine we have a big mansion or a big house, and we have climate change and global warming in the house. So if we have climate change in the house, it will be like we have 4 rooms in the house and all of them are all heated. That's the meaning of climate change, when 4 rooms are heated and everywhere is all heated. Wherein global warming now is, if we have 4 rooms, we will have one that have rain, the other will have heat, and the other will have a cool temperature. But I'm here now talking about climate change, because the scientists have actually proved that now in this our generation we have a lower rate of climate change now, but in the next more years to come we will be having higher rate of climate change, because everything is going so fast due to the global warming. So let me tell you about during the 1950s. So in the 1950s, people started using coal, petrol, and natural gas a lot during the industrial innovations. This causes a slip in carbon dioxide. So what is this carbon dioxide? We call it H2O. And this carbon dioxide is actually a gas from the green lighthouse. It's actually one of the gases in green lighthouse. And this carbon dioxide helps the green lighthouse to bring in heat in the earth. So let's watch our Bible, to Genesis 1 verse 28. God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. It fills the earth and submit it and have dominion. So God actually sent all of us to this planet Earth to actually be fruitful, be multiply, and have dominion over it. So I guess our responsibilities as human beings, we have to take care of what God has actually given us. So we as humans are the causes of climate change. we are actually the causes of climate change, because due to our daily activities, our daily enrollment make climate change. But if we actually take care of what actually God has given to us, which is the planet Earth on its own, we will have a lesser rate of climate change. Some are the reasons of climate change. In August 14, 2017, we have our mudslide flooding on Freetown 2017. And we lost a lot of people. We lost 141 people which died in the mudsliding, and 600 missing, and 3,000 homeless. This is because due to the climate change. Why I said it's because of the climate change, it's lack of construction. So on the 16th of August, within that, I have a colleague of mine that lost his people due to the mudslide flooding, and I actually went to go and sympathize with her. And then I was so curious, and I wanted to go and see where the mudslide occurred and some of the places where they were banned. And I noticed that it's because of the lack of construction and the combination of higher and unelegant construction. That is why there was mudslide there, because the mud actually was cut down and come down. So it's actually because of the lack of rate of construction. That's why.
Thank you very much for that again presentation.
Good morning, church. Good morning, judges. I'm here to present on gender-based violence. So before going further, I'd like to define the two main words of gender-based violence. Gender. Gender is to distinguish between male and female.
Your name, please.
Maria Martinez Kamara. So now let's define violence. According to WHO, violence is defined by the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person, or against a group of people or community, which either results in or has a likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. Just from the definition of violence, you can see that violence has a lot of harmful after effects. So another definition can be as an act of a forceful force that can cause or is intended to cause harm. Now going further, let's dwell on the types of gender-based violence. So we have various types of gender-based violence, but I'll be talking on 5. The final, we have 1. We have physical violence. We have psychological violence. We have sexual violence. We have social economical violence and verbal violence, which include hate speech. So, gender-based violence can affect both genders, both male or female. So it can be life-threatening and disheartening. But my focus here this evening, I'm going to be focused on the most common form of violence, of gender-based violence, which is the intimate life violence. It is the one that is known globally, but in Sierra Leone specifically, there are 2 forms of gender-based violence, which is the physical and the sexual violence or the spousal violence. These are the most common in Sierra Leone. So before I dive further into that, I would like to take some factors that influence gender-based violence. So according to research, number 1 is poverty. Research from Work says that families that are pushed into poverty will engage in harmful practices such as child marriages. And we have conflicts in war, we have displacement, and we have stress for home. So going further into the physical and sexual violence in Sierra Leone, it is important to notice that most women in Sierra Leone suffer this violence in silence. So as a result of love, marriage, or the fear of public opinion. So So these violence have various effects. So I would like to name a few of these effects. So the effects can be like partial or permanent disability. We have anger, we have fear, we have self-blame, we have self-hate, we have post-traumatic disorders, and we have depression. So now let's hear what the Word of God has to say about depression. How to say about violence. An example in the Bible is Genesis 34, verse 1 to 2, which talks about how Shechem befalls Dinah, the daughter of Leah and Jacob. So, in the Bible, God is against violence, all forms of violence, because it's an offense against God and against humanity. So, God is on the side of the oppressed and abused. Psalm 56. The scriptures clearly express God's desire for dramatic transformation of society and of those who are burdened, marginalized, or just executed. Another scripture talks about violence in the Bible, Luke 4:18-21, Proverbs 14:31, Matthew 9, verse 13. So I'd like to share a short story about a personal experience, but to my friend. In secondary school, I have a best friend who was living with her mom's younger sister who was married. So every night, the man made an attempt to her room to try to do some sexual harassment, but she was trying to scream, which we seized the effort of the man. So it was happening for a while, and it was showing in school because she was obviously used to zoom out in class. She looked depressed, but it took a lot of courage for her to open up about it. And thankfully, it was sorted out, and she's no longer in that home now. So the glory be to God for that. So people who are at risk of gender-based violence, women in general are at risk of gender-based violence because we are the weaker vessels.